doctor gonna write? Together we will fight.
The UFC is going to the city of Doha, the capital city of Qatar. The first visit by the UFC to the country of Qatar, November 22nd. It's going to be a fight night card, but some people expect it to have a lot of good fights, kind of like a pay-per-view. That's going to be the most stacked fight night equivalent to UFC 300. That means MSG pay-per-view is going to be the week before, and watch this Qatar card somehow end up being more stacked. This card's going to have 6 title fights, oil money for the win. Ho Choi, the Korean Superboy, returns to action in Perth on September 27th, taking on Daniel Santos. Santos is coming off a victory over Jung Young Lee, and Ho Choi is coming off a win over Nate Landwehr. We've all seen that Ho Choi has good striking skills, but in that fight with Landwehr, he showed he has really good wrestling, grappling, and ground and pound. Norma Dumont and Raquel Pennington fighting September 13th, San Antonio, Texas, UFC Noche. Pennington's coming off a loss of her title to Juliana Pena. Close fight, could have gone either way. That's why it was a split decision in the favor of Pena. And Dumont's coming off a decision victory over Aldana. Tim Kennedy says, I want to take full and unequivocal responsibility for a serious mistake over the years. I made public statements and gave interviews which I unintentionally misstated aspects of my military service, most notably implied directly or indirectly that I've been awarded the Bronze Star with Valor. That's not true. No excuse for it. I never received that honor, and I deeply regret ever suggesting otherwise. That kind of recognition is sacred. It represents extraordinary courage under fire, acts that risk or cost lives. To those who truly earned it and their families and brothers in arms, I offer my sincere and direct apology. What I said disrespected your service, and I take full ownership of that. Jake Shields says that people in the Jiu-Jitsu world upset I gave Derek Moneyberg his black belt in under 4 years. Life isn't fair, so Derek was able to spend money to be able to train with multiple world champs, but he still had to put in the blood and sweat like any black belt. Congratulations. Corey Sandhagen wants to fight Merab Dvalishvili in Vegas in December. He prefers Nevada over New York because New York has high taxes, he says, while Nevada doesn't charge state income tax, which could save him a lot of money. Merab is from the state of New York, so he wouldn't mind fighting there, but he also doesn't mind fighting in Vegas. They could do it in December. Pantoja also wants to defend his belt in December, so they could do 2 title fights there, 125 belt and 135 belt. Anthony Smith says earlier in his MMA career, he fought at a strip club. He's had 59 fights in his MMA career, so I'm sure he has a lot of stories of fighting in a lot of different venues.
At a strip club while the ring girls were strippers.
What?
Yes, it was great. It was amazing. Like, just the atmosphere of it was insane. Like, I only think it's amazing because now I can tell the story.
In the least, freak off way, I'd love to see footage of, what was going on.
Oh, it was
there.
crazy.
Just, full fights in the middle of a strip club?
Oh, no, like a Wednesday.
That's crazy.
They would run them, like one Wednesday a month. They'd have, like a fight night. It's crazy.
It's kind of wild to think about you fighting
I fought
in places like that, and then places where you fought now with the UFC.
At 19 years of age, Alice Pereira will become the youngest female UFC fighter in history when she fights September 13th against Montserrat Rendon in San Antonio, Texas. Julieta Martinez was not signed by the UFC. Dana White said that she was too young at 20, so some felt that was a hypocritical stance. She will be taking on UFC fighter Montserrat Ruiz on the 27th of this month at EBI. That takes place in Monterrey, Mexico. Regarding Jailton Almeida, Alexander Volkov says it does make sense maybe for him to fight Almeida for a chance to see who's the next contender for the belt, and it'll also be an interesting fight for Volkov. Volkov is down to do it in Brazil. He says that's a good location for Almeida, and it's also a good location for him. Almeida's happy that Volkov wants to fight him. Good news coming, Volkov already signed. I said close to his home in Abu Dhabi, and he said my home in Brazil. Both said October and November, so let's go. I like this fight, and he likes this fight, and the UFC likes this fight. Gon will probably fight Aspinall for the belt. Volkov will probably end up fighting Almeida. Sergey Pavlovich is fighting Waldo Cortez Acosta. Curtis Blades just fought Rizwan Kuniev. Marcin Tybura will be welcoming Ante D'Elia to the UFC, and D'Elia's UFC debut coming over from the PFL. Derek Lewis is headlining the Nashville Fight Night card this weekend against Talishan Teixeira. Kennedy Nzechukwu also fighting this weekend. He will be taking on Walter Walker. Martin Buday will be taking on Marcus Buchecha, welcoming Marcus Buchecha to the UFC later this month. Buchecha has a 5-1 record and coming over from one championship. Vitor Vitrino fighting this weekend against Austin Lane. Junior Tafa also fighting this weekend. He's taking on Tuko Tukas, who's moving up to heavyweight from 205. So that's 4 heavyweight fights this weekend, and next weekend Lucas Bresky will be taking on Ryan Spann.
Sou Marcos Bochecha, o mais novo peso pesado do UFC. A minha estreia no UFC vai ser agora, esse mês, dia 26 de julho, no UFC Abu Dhabi. Vai ser um Fight Night. Tô muito animado, vai ser contra vamos dizer assim, um veterano do UFC, né? Ele tem já 7 lutas lá, 6 vitórias e 1 derrota. O nome dele é Martin Buday, um europeu. Faixa preta de jiu-jitsu também. Já tem aí uma boa bagagem no UFC, é ranqueado, se eu não me engano ele é 14º. Então vai ser um desafio, um grande desafio aí nessa estreia, mas eu tô amarradão, tô animado, pronto, e vamos lá, rumo a Abu Dhabi.
Charles Oliveira has fought a lot of hard hitters in his MMA career, but no harder a hitter than his last fight he fought against Ilia Topuria. Ilia is definitely the hardest hitter I've ever faced, is what Charles says. He's the one who hit me the hardest. There's no denying it. I've taken some really hard hits from guys like Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Michael Chandler. That only ended in a knockdown. I've never been knocked out before. I've been knocked down by punches, but this time I got knocked out. It was something new for me. I didn't know what had happened. Oliveira would like to get back in there ASAP. He's looking at fighting in November.
I already made the call today, so hopefully we get a short, not a short notice, but hopefully I scheduled and get something set up. Just making some moves out here in Vegas, finding the right facility, training, the right training rooms, the right people, the right vibes, the vibe for me, and then get to fucking work, But if they called me tomorrow to fight, shit, I'd run it. Probably just stay at Syndicate because they have more people my size. I like the vibe. Rab's there. I was hunting him down yesterday trying to get rounds with him, but he already had his rounds lined up. But I just wanted to see Tank versus Tank, see what really happened. But I maybe have to catch him later this week or next week or, whenever. I just want to train with the best, become one of the best, and then see what's good,
In this octagon.